Greetings, Zombie Slayers, Sloopy Jim here. Welcome to my solo high round strategy guide for the new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies map, Die Machine. And in this guide, I'm going to be taking you through all the tips and tricks to get to high rounds playing solo in this map. But before I do, I'm going to take you through the setup, what you need to rank up, and having your loadout when you start the game here. So before we get to that, if you want to skip straight to the start of the game, there is a pinned comment below with a timestamp for that. So let's start by going into the loadout section here. So this is where you can choose your starting weapon and some stuff like that. There's a lot of different weapons you can choose from here, and a lot of them are good options. So I like to either use a shotgun, or you can also use, for instance, the knife here, which is called Melee Alpha. Maybe we'll get more versions of this, but this thing, even the base version here is actually a one-hit kill up until around 14, which is pretty crazy, way better than the old Bowie knife. And if you actually pack punch it to the max, it's a one-hit kill until around 28, which is pretty insane. And it also gives you the max number of points you can get per zombie. So for a really good points building weapon, a weapon that doesn't need ammo, obviously being a knife, and one that you can get through the rounds pretty quickly with early on, this thing is actually pretty good to choose as a starting weapon. But there is a better weapon, in my opinion, that I would actually use instead as my starting weapon in my loadout, which we'll get to next. At the moment in my loadout, what I prefer using is this shotgun here, the Gallo SA-12, and this is actually a pretty awesome weapon. So you can use whatever gun you like though, it's no big deal, whatever you feel comfortable with. The reason I like the shotgun here is this shotgun is pretty powerful, and at least early on when you're using the loadout version, the red quality of it, it does do pretty good for killing zombies in one hit up until, around 5 or so, which is when you're probably swapping it out for something better. But the reason that I like to use this is because you can put a couple of attachments on this thing that will actually give you an increased drop rate of the different items you get from the zombies, which we will talk about later. But basically they are salvage, and also basically things like tactical and offensive grenades. So you can see here I'm using the Tiger Team Spotlight, which gives increased salvage drop rate. There's also another one here, the Mounted Flashlight, that gives an increased salvage drop rate. It doesn't really distinguish between the two, unfortunately, but I'm assuming that this one, because it has a negative sprint to fire time, is probably going to give you more salvage drop rate. I haven't really done any testing on that. And also this one here, I'm using the Agency Choke. So what this does is it gives me increased equipment drop rate. So that's talking about things like grenades and all of that stuff that you get from the zombies as well. So both of those things are going to give me increased salvage and increased equipment drops from zombies. So that's why I like to use this. Now, if you really got super attached to this gun, you could upgrade it all the way to the legendary quality and pack a punch and stuff like that. But it's not really efficient for the higher rounds, past round 30 or whatever. So this is what I prefer as my starting weapon at the moment. Now, in terms of your field upgrade, you are definitely going to want to rank up your Ring of Fire here to rank 3. So what this does is it gives you double burn effect damage. The Ring of Fire blocks enemy projectiles, so they can come from the boss zombies, or you can actually get zombies that throw stuff at you now, which is pretty weird. But anyway, the other thing that it does at rank 3 is while in the ring, ammo is taken from your stock instead of the magazine. So you don't have to reload, which is awesome for the strategy we'll be using in the higher rounds. Now, other good options for different uses are the Ether Shroud, and early on, the Energy Mine's pretty good as well. So you can actually swap these out mid-game as you need them. So don't worry if you've forgotten to put Ring of Fire in your loadout. You can always select it later on in the game by just choosing the class that has this this field upgrade. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as the loadout goes. But obviously, you are going to want to use your Ethereum crystals to rank up things like your perks to tier 3. It really doesn't take that long, and these give basically really good effects. So, you know, Jug gives you an extra 100 health at tier 3, and, you know, increased reload speed from Speed Color at tier 3, all of that stuff. So, you know, you can walk faster while aiming down sights with stamina up. All of that stuff is really, really good once you rank these up. Let's take a quick look at some of the other stuff here. So obviously, if you can rank up the main weapons that you expect to be using, so I would suggest pistols, which affects the ray gun, and shotguns if you're using the shotgun, obviously. And melee, this is actually super good to rank up to tier 3, guys. I was actually surprised when I saw what this does. So once you rank up the melee weapon to tier 3, even if you don't have the melee weapon alpha as one of your weapons, it replaces your gun butt with a Bowie knife. And this is actually a one-hit kill on zombies. Without even having to buy the Bowie knife in the map, you've got one automatically when you use your gun butt to melee the zombies. So this is actually one-hit kill up until round 10. It's pretty crazy, guys, some of the OP stuff in this map. So I think that's the main things there to discuss before we get into the actual game. So if you haven't watched one of my solo high round strategies before, we basically take you step by step all the way from round 1 up to round 30. And in this case, I'm going to be showing you a little bit of the post round 30, such as round 50, because things do pretty much ramp up at that point, specifically in Cold War Zombies. And I'll also show you guys how to extract and stuff like that, and all the little tips and tricks. Some of it will be very basic beginner stuff, but also some strategies to get you to some super high rounds in this map. So let's get started, guys. Okay, so a little bit of a cutscene and then we'll get loaded into Die Machine here, located in Morasko, Poland. And it's kind of a non-traditional starting area for a Treyarch Zombies map. Usually in the old days there used to be 4 windows, one for each team member to board up, and you used to have a couple of starting weapons in the starting area, and then they started putting quick revive in as well. None of that in this starting area. So I actually like to open this this pink door so that you move through the next area. And there's actually a couple of windows in here that you can board up just for those extra bonus points once the zombies start coming through here, which is why I opened this pretty early on. Yeah, but in terms of the other features of this starting area here, so there is the other door across the way with the green one. You can go through that way to get to the same basic area for the objective. Costs the same amount of points, but I go the other way because it's quicker to get to extract if you extract the map. So you might be wondering what we've been picking up from the zombies. Well, it's actually salvage. There's 2 types of salvage. Common, which you can buy all of these grenades, including monkey bombs and the lethals. The support ones, though, including the chopper gunner and the self-revive kit, they require the high-grade salvage, which is the blue stuff, which drops less commonly from zombies. And zombies don't just drop salvage either, they drop equipment, which we'll talk about in a moment. In terms of the point system, so if you want to get maximum points from zombies, you either want to kill them with a melee hit from a knife or your fists, or you want to get a critical hit by shooting them in the head for the kill. So that'll give you 115 points. But if you just get a regular hit with a gun in the body, for instance, you're only going to get 90 points. So to get the max points, you want to get that knife kill, melee kill, or the critical headshot, just so you guys know. Now, the other things that you'll see around the map here are these ammo caches, and I was amazed that these are a feature, but they're located all around the place, actually, and you can actually buy ammo back for the weapon you're holding. Basic weapons that only cost 250 points, which is crazy OP. And yeah, even with a fully pack-a-punched weapon like a ray gun, you can still buy ammo for them from those crates, but it does cost like 10,000 points, which isn't too bad in the high rounds because you have so many points to spend by that point. But you can't buy the wonder weapon ammo for this map from these caches, which is probably pretty evident. We'll talk about that later because it has a different mechanic for ammo. So yeah, like I said, I do like to move through this room and then up the stairs and out the side to progress towards that facility objective. Now, you're looking at the war weapon here, this Hauer 77, which is green. Now, you might have noticed it's actually said it's tier 2 damage that it does, and it has 3 attachments. So if we go up here and check this other war weapon, it's blue quality, tier 3 damage with 4 attachments, and it's classified as rare. So there's actually weapon rarity as a feature in this map. And the higher tier the weapon is, the more damage it does. So it goes like the following, right? The starting loadout weapon, the red quality that you see on this shotgun here, that actually does not have any damage boost. It's just your standard damage. And you're going to have whatever attachments you've put on it and that you've unlocked. Now, when you get the green weapons, they have a 50% damage boost. The blue weapons have a 100% damage boost. The epic weapons have 200% damage boost and 6 attachments. And legendary, most weapons, except for the ray gun, have 300% damage boost and 8 attachments. So ray gun, I should say, does have the damage boost, but not the attachments, obviously. Unfortunately, imagine how good that would be if you put attachments on the ray gun. So that's how the weapon rarity works. It's a really interesting feature, and I think they've balanced it really, really well in this map. It's pretty amazing, this idea that they've come up with and how they've managed to balance it. And it makes it the whole situation of having these crazy starting weapons, like you can have an LMG if you wanted to, with 6 attachments on it. And it's still not OP because it starts losing damage pretty significantly as you get into the higher rounds and you're having to face stronger and stronger zombies. Anyway, we're just basically getting some points here. What I like to do with this map is I like to stay around this area here, in the starting area and the first room of Narked, until about round 5. Round 5, as you're getting towards the end of the round, we're going to start moving towards the objective, which you can see on screen, gain entrance to the facility, and ultimately, as always, we'll be looking to turn on the power to get things started here in this map. So it's kind of very similar to World War II zombies, if you remember, where they had the on-screen objectives and stuff like that. And you've also got the mini-map on screen and stuff that's sort of straight out of multiplayer, which had me very, very worried initially that they'd sort of handed over some of the zombie stuff to the multiplayer guys at Treyarch. But actually, they've done a pretty good job in a lot of ways, and I don't mind some of the experiments that they've taken with some of the stuff in the map, like the ammo boxes is one thing I've talked about. But there's a whole lot of other stuff, like I talked about having the Bowie knife once you rank it up, as just a passive ability that you have all of the time is pretty insanely crazy when you think about it. See right there, that's the Bowie knife in action, and that'll be a one-hit kill until round 10. So it's pretty crazy that they put this stuff in, but it kind of works, and you'll see why as we get into the higher rounds as well. Now I'm just selecting which grenades I wanted to use there. You do not get grenades back from max ammos, by the way. You have to basically collect them from the zombie drops, and once you've picked up one type of grenade that you want to use, it will automatically pick up the same type of grenade when you run over it automatically. So the exception to that seems to be monkey bombs, which are a tactical grenade. There's another ammo box right there. Those you have to click on physically and pick them up for some reason. But yeah, it's fairly good system. Works pretty good. So we're just following our way down here to the objective. So you can open either one of these doors. They cost the same amount and they lead to the same place. I like to go through this way, just because you've got quick revive down here as well. So we can grab the loose change out of the bottom of that, which is also a traditional feature that they've put into this map as well, which is pretty awesome. I still see a lot of players in random lobbies that I join that don't know about that 100 point bonus underneath the perk machines. Now this is where the power switch is. Then you have to turn on these other 2 power switches at these terminals right here. It's pretty straightforward and easy to do. And we're just going to head over to do this. There's a couple of little things that I'm going to show you here that are going to give you a little boost to the start of your game. So after you've turned on those power switches, you can come over here and buy your first armor upgrade. And you should have enough of the common salvage to do that by this point. Then you'll see this anomaly here appears after you've turned on power. So once you click and hold on that, it will actually teleport you through to an alternative dark ether version of the facility. So you want to head back out of the facility the same way that you came in originally. So we're going to go back out past Speed, Cola, and then back out through these tunnels here. And what we're looking for is going to be that on-screen objective, the Ether Tunnel. It will be in one of two locations in the game. This one here is nice and close for us, but before we use that, there is a limited time, but you can spend a little time going around breaking these crystals here. These are actually, I think they're Ethereum crystals. They kind of remind me of the Iridium from Borderlands, but when you break these have a chance to give you stuff like salvage. They can even give you perks very rarely, weapons, including the ray gun, and just grenades, equipment, stuff like that. Anyway, once you've broken a few of those, got some bonus stuff, head down the Ether Tunnel. It costs 500 points, and you'll get into a locked area which will open up for you and have that part that I just picked up there. And that part is actually the only part you need to build the Pack-a-Punch, thankfully, which is not too complicated in this map, which is over here. So just click on that Pack-a-Punch there in the center of the area, and you'll be automatically teleported back to the regular version of the facility. And we now have available our very cool looking Pack-a-Punch, which allows you to Pack-a-Punch weapons up to 3 times and add the element of your choice. Now, next thing I'll show you is a little Easter egg. You want to shoot these orbs here. There's one right here. They're always in the same locations. There's another one over here in the corner near the power switch. And then you want to jump on top of this, this machine here. And just up here in the ceiling, there's another one, third one. The fourth one's down here between these pipes. You can shoot from the same sort of area. And then the final one, the fifth one, is down here just behind the workbench area here under Pack-a-Punch. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's just in that little corner there inside of the window. And after you've shot all 5 of those orbs, you'll automatically be teleported to the dark ether again. And it's going to be a pretty crazy, hilarious zombie dance party that's going on here. This is like the coffin dance meme. And yeah, you're sort of forced to participate in the zombie party shenanigans for a minute or so. And then after these guys dance the little chest / coffin over to the center of the area, they'll put that down. Now, after that happens, as you'll see soon, you get teleported back to the regular world. And you can actually click on the crate that they've dropped and leave behind. And that will give you a bunch of cool stuff. It will always give you a can of jug. It only gives you 1 can, even if you're in a 4-player match, unfortunately. It gives you some salvage, and it usually gives you a pretty good weapon as well, which can be up to legendary quality, including stuff like the Wonder Weapon and the Ray Gun. So you want to always do this because there's no downside to this little Easter egg. So we're teleporting back now. Now, people say you can choose the rarity of the weapon, but that is not true. It's just random no matter what color the smiley face is. So you can see here we actually get a pretty good epic quality shotgun, which is actually the same type of shotgun, the Gallo, I should say, that I was using. But this one has way more power because it is obviously epic quality compared to my starting loadout version of the gun. And it has obviously being the epic quality, a 200% damage boost and 6 attachments, which are random. Okay, now you see that we can teleport ourselves back to the Dark Ether whenever we want by finding that anomaly again, which does have an indicator on the minimap as well. So we've already had our first dog round, which gives you that max ammo, which is awesome. I love that feature in maps. And the next round, which is this one, round 7, we're going to have our first encounter with the mini-boss, the Megaton, in this map. But before we do that, we're going to grab stamina up real quick. And we'll talk about the perks in a moment. But this is This is the mini boss right here, the Megaton. And we're going to take him out pretty quickly here with this purple shotgun here around 7. But it's not his final form. He actually turns into these 2 mini bosses after he splits in half, which was pretty surprising the first time I saw that. But they also get taken out pretty quick. The first time you defeat those guys, they will drop that, that gold keycard that you saw me pick up. And that's a part that you'll need to get the free wonder weapon in this map. You can get the wonder weapon other places too, like the coffin dance crate from the Easter egg we did earlier, or from the mystery box, but this is the easiest way to get it, and it's pretty straightforward as well. Now, in terms of perks, with perks in this game, when you do self-revive yourself, if you do get downed, you'll start losing the perks that you buy last in the chain. You can have up to pretty much all of the perks in the map you can have, which is a total of 6. So I like to buy the most important perks first. And then they're the last ones that you'll lose if you do start to bleed out and you have to self-revive. So for that reason, you'll see I've got Jug, Stamina Up. Stamina Up being the most important one, trust me, in the high rounds. Jug, obviously, is another one you want to get pretty quickly so that you have that extra 100 health bonus that you get at tier 3, which is very, very important. And I'm so glad they brought back the Juggernog machine here in this map, because it was pretty crazy they took out Jug in the last Call of Duty Zombies. Anyway, where we're heading now is we're going to open up this other door. You can go around and come up through the power room to this same spot, by the way, but I just figured I'd open it. Now, this machine right here, you can put the keycard you picked up from the mini boss in there, and it will open the drawer and give you the DIE remote control. And this is a device that you'll need to do another step that will allow you to get a free wonder weapon in this map, which is pretty awesome. So it's actually pretty easy to get doing this step if you haven't got it out of the box. It isn't super rare, by the way, to get it out of the mystery box. If you're playing in a squad and someone else gets it. So this item right here, this sort of device in that little room there, which has a crack in the wall, that thing, you have to actually click on that when you've got enough zombies in this room here, and then you want to basically run the zombies past the doorway that leads into that little closed room. It'll make sense when I show you in a moment, but it's gonna pretty much vacuum all the zombies into that area, and then it's going to charge up the machine. I don't know how it works exactly. That's science fiction stuff. And then when it's absorbed enough zombies, so we're going to switch it on here. You see it starts sucking through the door here. It's going to vacuum all the zombies up, or most of them anyway. Just be careful, because some of them will survive the walk past. And then when it gets enough zombies inside of it, it will give you a little audio message saying it's full. Hopefully we have enough zombies here. This guy does not want to get sucked up in that machine for some reason. There we go. So once it says that it's full or whatever it says, you just click on it again and it blasts the door open, and then you can pick up the wonder weapon from the little skeleton dude. So yeah, this thing is called the DIE, which is the initials for the decompressive isotopic estrangement machine. I don't know why they didn't call it DM, which would mean day instead of die. I guess they were Nazis, as the commentator says. I mean, anyway, yeah, it's a pretty awesome wonder weapon. I'll show you how it works a little bit later on. But essentially, you have two functions. One is basically a big blast, where you get like it takes 15 ammo per shot in its basic form, and you have 60 ammo total, so you get 4 shots essentially with the left trigger if you're playing PC. But then you can hold down the right trigger, and what that would do is it will suck the zombies up exactly like that device did in that room there. And that actually charges up the ammunition. So it refills the ammo using zombies. which is pretty awesome. And early on, it's pretty powerful and easy to do. Later on, it's not really going to work so good. But anyway, you can see there we were able to upgrade our armor to tier 2 armor. So the first 2 tiers of the armor upgrades are done with your basic salvage. And then the 3rd tier is done with the high grade salvage. So we are going to have to save up 250 high grade salvage to get the 3rd armor plate. And essentially the armor plates work kind of like the zombie shields we've had in the past, except they're 360-degree protection, which is pretty awesome. And you can also repair the armor at the same machine where we upgraded it for common salvage. Down here's where the Deadshot machine is. Now, I actually, it's kind of badass. The new design of this. They've gone with the 80s hair metal kind of theme, I guess. I don't know why, because it's very, very different to the old Deadshot daiquiri machine vibe with the tropical look. But anyway, whatever. Now we also have a trial machine here. And what you can do with this is you click on that and it will give you a random trial. I think there's like 20 odd different kinds of trials that you can get. They're random every time, obviously. Some of them are easier to do than others. They might be things like stay in a certain area for a certain amount of time, or kill zombies in that area, all sorts of stuff. And you can see hit me here using the suck function on the Wonder Weapon. That was the blast function right there, and then we're using the suck to refill the ammo. So in these early rounds, it's actually pretty useful and does a fair bit of damage to these zombies. But later on, the suck is not going to do much damage, but it's very useful during insta-kill rounds, and that's pretty much the only reason we're hanging on to the Wonder Weapon. Now, you can upgrade the Wonder Weapon 4 different ways for 4 different effects, but it's not worth the time and effort for getting the high rounds with. If you just want to fool around or you're doing the Easter egg, go for it. But that is not what this guide is for. This guide is just to show you the best way to get to high rounds. Anyway, we're just trying to get this trial done in here. You can see we've actually got to the epic reward right now, which is pretty cool. It goes all the way up to legendary rewards, and this is another way you can get the Wonder Weapon, and you can also get the ray gun. The ray gun is actually better than the Wonder Weapon. They've actually made it really, really useful. In fact, the best weapon in this map is the ray gun, which is pretty awesome because I've always liked the ray gun. And it was kind of disappointing when in some maps in the past when you got the ray gun, it was kind of a disappointment because you was after some other weapons that were more effective, but they've definitely buffed it in this and made it useful and desirable. So we only managed to get up to epic quality here with that challenge because we just didn't have enough zombies to kill, unfortunately, here at round 12. But we'll take what we can get. So we're going to see what we get here. It's random. We got a random purple pistol, and you also usually get some salvage and some sort of a random drop as well. So we're going to try another trial here. Now, I like to do these trials until until they've leveled up all the way to the highest tier of trial, because I think that once you've done that, you actually get better weapons out of the mystery box. But you also have a chance, if you do get a legendary reward to get the ray gun. So that's why it's worth doing. But actually, I think the mystery box will give you higher rarity weapons just based on how high of a round you're at. So it's kind of done in a pretty balanced way to help you progress throughout the map in an intuitive manner. So anyway, we got Speed Cola there. Now the reason I got Deadshot Daiquiri, by the way, straight after Jug, is it's in a kind of slightly dangerous area to buy it back if you do get downed. So if you buy it fairly early, you probably won't have to worry about going back in that room and buying it back from in there. So that's why I've got Speed Cola after Deadshot Daiquiri, and then I'll get Elemental Pop, the new perk, last. Because those two, Speed Cola, Elemental Pop, are super easy to get safely in the high rounds. if you have to buy them back. But they're not essential anyway. You don't really need them, but I mean, they're kind of good for certain things. Elemental pop's pretty cool. It actually gives you sort of an elemental effect to your bullets and stuff like that. But you can also get the same sort of effect from the pack punch machine. Now I'm going to switch out my field upgrade here. So I'm actually going to try, because I'm doing these trials, I'm going to go with the energy field upgrade. So this is really good for blasting hordes of zombies with. But later on, when we start getting to the point where we're set up and ready to go for high rounds, we're going to be using the Ring of Fire field upgrade, which is pretty important. Okay, so we got our 6th and final perk, the new Elemental Pop perk. And the perk machines look pretty awesome, actually. They've done a pretty good job. I think they've gone a little bit overboard with the 80s theme. But, yeah, oh well. The music for the new perks, for the new perk is pretty good as well. So I'm just trying to get some ammo back for this thing. But yeah, the main reason you want to hang on to the Wonder Weapon is it's just super devastating for insta-kills. But, I mean, you could use something like an LMG for insta-kills or something like that as well if you wanted to. It is so easy to get that you might as well get it. And early on, it's very effective against the mini-bosses. Later on, it gets less effective. So yeah, this purple shotgun is doing some work for me here, which is pretty awesome. Okay, now at this point, because I've got all 6 perks, and you really only need 3 of those, the first 3 that I got, but the other ones we might as well get as well. We're going to go in. Now, that's where you can repair, by the way, and you can also upgrade your gun's rarity and quality at that same little mannequin area. You can go all the way up to legendary. So you could, if you wanted to, upgrade your loadout weapon if you're really attached to it all the way to legendary. And I've actually done that myself. So, I mean, if you've got all the attachments you want that give you extra salvage and stuff like that, it might be useful to upgrade your starting loadout weapon to legendary. This shotgun is actually really, really good once it's legendary and pack-a-punched 3 times. But not as good as the ray gun. So ultimately what we want to do now that we've got our 6 perks is we want to try to get the ray gun. Once we get the ray gun, we're going to be fully set up and ready to bang out the rounds to as high as we want to go. But the ray gun is actually really, really rare and hard to get a lot of the time in this map. You can get lucky and get it fairly early, but I've also had games where it's just taken forever to try and get it. So there's a few different things you can do to try and get it. The obvious one is hitting the mystery box a bunch of times. And the higher the round that you're in, the more chance you're going to get it, because it is a legendary quality weapon. It's always legendary quality. But you can even get it from breaking the Dark Ether crystals that we saw earlier. I personally have never seen it, but people have got it that way before. So if you're super desperate, you try doing that. Go back into the Dark Ether, break a bunch of those crystals and hope for the best. And you can get it as a legendary reward from these trials as well. So that's kind of why they're worth doing. So for this trial, I've got another kill zombies challenge. And this is got to be done in the tunnel area here, which is kind of a dangerous area. You can get swarmed by zombies pretty easily here. But I do have a couple of these distraction grenades, which don't actually explode. They're sort of like the poor man's monkey bomb. In fact, some of the zombies, like you can see here, don't even get attracted to them if they're too far away from it. So it's not that great. You definitely want to use monkey bombs instead, which you can craft with salvage from the crafting table. But anyway, we're going to try our best here with this challenge, and we actually get the mini boss spawning again here. But we are still in a fairly low round, so the mini boss is a little bit harder to take out in the higher rounds, but we're still going to take it out fairly easily here and pick up all that awesome loot that it drops. So in terms of armor, you can buy with using salvage at that dummy that we talked about earlier, where you actually buy the armor originally. You can repair your armor there, but you can also pick up plates like you can see on the ground right here that will repair a small part of your armor. And you can also get drops of full-on armor kits, and these will repair a large chunk of your armor based on whether it's tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3 type of drop. So they're pretty awesome to get. Oh god, that was so close there. In this map though, even if you do get completely trapped by a horde of zombies, you can still survive it some of the time, if you have the right equipment, because the armor is so powerful, and it's, like I said, it's 360-degree protection and still it gets broken. Okay, we've got another epic reward available here, so we're going to double back and see if we can just pick that up. And get a epic weapon. We get a max ammo, which is pretty good. And we're going to hit the trial again here and see if we can't get a legendary reward. So sometimes it's worth keeping a single zombie and then hitting the trial, because it could be like stay in X location for a certain amount of time, which with one zombie left is pretty easy to do. But most of the killing zombies ones are the easiest ones to get legendary rewards on. So I would probably say just wait until the round's already started. But in this case, we have to remain inside a location for as long as possible, which is the living room. So we're going to head down in here, and this is going to get pretty intense because it's round 18 and it's pretty close quarters down here. It kind of gives me flashbacks, this Untitled area, because I did a lot of high rounds early on before people were starting to do like 300 rounds and stuff like that in the original World at War Untitled. I think I did around 115, which was like not a world record, but I think in the top 3 at the time I did it by training around these concrete pillars here. So it brings back a lot of memories. I wasn't even going for a world record at the time. I was just doing a silly challenge. But yeah, we've just got the one, they're not hellhounds now. What are they? Plague hounds, I think they're called, left here. So I'm just going to train it around in here. And we should be able to wear down this clock. But any of these locations that are like across the map from the sort of area where you get the quest originally, it's pretty hard to get high tier rewards by doing these, unless you're already in the location when you pick up the quest, like the tunnel area. So we're going to go back and do another one. And hopefully we get like a kill zombie one or something like that we should be capable of getting legendary on. But all of this is essentially we're building up points and we're trying to get a legendary reward. That's the whole point of what we're doing right now. Because I could be hitting the box right now, and I'm just going to hit it because it's a fire sale. But instead of hitting the box after every round when I've got some points, I'm going to accumulate my points, get to a slightly higher round where I'll get better quality weapons appearing in the mystery box due to the high round. And then it's going to be a more efficient use of my thousands of points here. But yeah, just doing a few like risky runs to make the most out of that fire sale, which is over now, sadly. Anyway, we do have a tier 3 armor, which is pretty good. We've got all 6 perks. Things are going pretty good so far. And I'm just going to buy myself a monkey bomb with some salvage there. Eventually, you want to buy, or you want to obtain, whether through buying them or picking them up, from zombie drops your max amount of monkey bombs that you can carry, which is 2, unfortunately. You can actually have a maximum of 5 offensive grenades, like Semtex or whatever. I actually prefer Semtex, but you could also have frag grenades or whatever. So I usually roll with the 2 monkey bombs and the 5 Semtex. Even in the really high rounds, you can kill zombies with 2 or 3 Semtex. Okay, so I just thought I'd pack a punch this, just while even though we are trying to build up points, we're getting to sort of the stage where the mini bosses are going to be harder to kill unless I do pack a punch. So you're kind of forced to progress your weapon damage to deal with the mini bosses, the megatons. And let's do another trial. So it's 1,500 points now. And I'm going to wait until I've killed the last zombie before we kick it off. But yeah, I really like the Pack-a-Punch camo. It looks pretty good, and it actually changes. Like, this is the first tier of Pack-a-Punch. Tier 2 is a different color, and Tier 3 is a different color. So it looks pretty awesome. And you can choose whether or not you have an elemental upgrade as well, which I like. Because I didn't like the fact that it automatically got one before. I think in the, what was it, Black Ops 4 Zombies when that came in. Okay, so for this is one of the really weird trials where you have to take damage and recover health. So it's like, it's not super specific how much you have to lose and recover, or whether it's big chunks or what it is, but I thought I'd give it a go here. So I'm just letting the zombies whack me. And we're just going to try to survive. Obviously, they end up breaking my armor, which is fine. I can always repair that. But we're going to take as much damage as we can here without getting downed. Continuously until the time runs out. It's a really weird challenge. I've just got to be careful not to get trapped. There's a lot of zombies back there. I think the zombie limit is still the same as it's always been in terms of the maximum number of zombies that can be in the map at any one time, which is 24. I believe it's still the same because I did test that out. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't increased that amount at some point, but maybe there's a technical reason for that. Anyway, we've got 10 seconds left and I'm on an epic reward right now, so just taking some more damage here, hoping that we can get to Legendary. And there we go, we got Legendary with a couple of seconds to spare. So I am going to go and see what this so-called Legendary reward is going to be. And the hope is that it's going to be, by the way, the Carpenters do repair your armor to max. Like they have done in the past, previous zombies. Which is pretty awesome. So, one thing with this salvage mechanic, collecting the salvage from zombie drops, you kind of have to double back all the time and circle back and pick it all up, because if you don't pick it up, eventually it will just disappear and get wasted, and you want to get as much salvage as you can possibly get. Throughout the game, it's always going to be useful and necessary for a whole range of stuff, from repairing your armor to buying stuff like chopper gunners, war machines. All of that stuff requires salvage. Alright, here's our Legendary reward, and we get an epic weapon. What? Come on. Surely it should have been Legendary, but we didn't get the ray gun, sadly. So I just thought I'd try another trial. Just keep doing the trials, keep building points, and then when we get to about round, probably around 30,000 points, thereabouts, I'm going to hit the mystery box continuously. Keep a zombie, hit the mystery box, and hope that we can get the ray gun.
This SMG's coming with me.
So unfortunately, I did get the teddy bear, bunny bear, teddy bunny, teddy rabbit, whatever it is. Isn't it still Samantha though? I don't quite understand the storyline of this Cold War Zombies, this Dark Ether storyline too much yet. But I haven't done the Easter egg, to be honest. I'm going to do that pretty soon, but I don't quite understand how it fits into the zombies universe at this point. Maybe you guys can clue me in on it. But yeah, we've got another trial here, which is to kill zombies in the particle accelerator room, which I've just left. So it's going to be hard to go back through there with all the zombies on my tail. And the time's running out anyway. So yeah, we failed that one, but it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, as the rounds get higher, those dogs do become quite an annoyance because what they do is they'll pounce on you if you're not careful, and that will slow you down, and getting slowed down can get you killed in the very high rounds, so you want to be careful of that. Plus, when they explode after you kill them, they have like a corrosive effect if you run through that yellow plague stuff, which will damage both your health and your armor a little bit. It's kind of annoying. So you want to kind of shoot those dogs whenever you see them, just to get them out of the equation. Anyway, it is mini boss time yet again. So the mini boss respawns every few rounds, as you can see, and pretty much the same mechanic we've seen before. It splits into two, and you got to kill those two little mini bosses. It does get pretty dangerous in the high rounds because the stuff that it shoots at you does a ton of damage, and also it can slap you and knock you back a fair way. You definitely don't want to get knocked into a corner of the map where you get stuck, or into the zombies or anything like that. But I'll be showing you guys how to take care of the mini boss pretty easily in the really high rounds a bit later. But for now, we're still cranking out the trials, trying to get points and get some more monkey bombs crafted. And I also crafted a war machine. So the war machine is really good for taking out hordes of zombies really quickly as well. I use it as my go-to specialist, I guess you could call it, for extracting super easily. And I'll show you how to extract a little bit later in this guide as well. But for now, we have another challenge, which is to kill enemies from a higher elevation. So my go-to for this is the plane wing at the crash site. And usually you should be pretty okay. You use all your equipment, your monkey bombs, wonder weapon, stuff like that. And just going to throw out the other monkey bomb here. And trying to get some more ammo for this thing. So we're going to stay here for another 35 seconds. And hope that we get a high quality reward here. So that's the Ring of Fire build upgrade right there. It's pretty awesome actually. Especially at tier 3. We get a max ammo. Okay, it's the end of the round, so we should be able to wait the rest of the timer out here for this challenge. And I've nearly got 30,000 points, so we'll be starting to hit the mystery box if we don't get the ray gun as a reward from one of these trials. So we got an epic reward. But doing these trials is good also for salvage. So they do cost a fair bit of points to buy, but they're worth doing, I think. So yeah, I was going to get blocked going back up the tunnel, so I just thought I'd come down through particle accelerator room again and hit the mystery box while the fire sale's going. This is a nasty spot. Oh, and we got the ray gun, just like that, guys. That is some extraordinary luck. Round 23. But, yeah. That's good. It means we don't have to hit the mystery box. Because trust me, guys, some of the games I've played, I've hit the mystery box and gone through like 30,000, 40,000 points and not got the ray gun. I've got the wonder weapon multiple times, but not the ray gun. So it can be a grind to get it sometimes. And when it comes to high rounds these days, if you're trying to go for a really high round,
I'm just getting started.
it's all about time and speed. The faster tactics are the better ones because once you get to a certain level of high round, what happens is most of the time your console or your PC is going to fail and end the game on you, basically. So you want to get as far as you can, as quickly as you can, to the highest round as possible before you get one of those error codes happening if you want to get some crazy high round. But I mean, if you only want to go to 100 or something like that, in this map, it's actually pretty stable. Surprisingly good. So you can get to some pretty high rounds in this, especially on PC, before you get any errors. I have heard people getting errors on console at like round 100 or so. But on PC, you can get to like 300 plus. I've seen people do without the game crashing. So they've done a pretty good job here in Cold War Zombies so far. I remember in, I think it was Black Ops, what was it, the first map that came out in Shadows of Evil. That was such a poorly optimized map on PC. And they never really fixed the problems with it either. Like, you would go from one zone of the map into another, and the whole game would freeze. It was pretty crazy how bad it was. But in this map, it's pretty smooth. They've done a really good job as far as optimizing it. Very pleased with that. So, yeah, hopefully they keep it that way. Okay, anyway, now we have the ray gun. So, we have the ray gun, the wonder weapon, we have all the perks, we've got 2 monkey bombs, we've got our ring of fire equipped. So we pretty much only have to continue pack punching the ray gun. So we've already pack punched it twice, and we've only got a third pack punch to do, and it will be at maximum damage, which is pretty crazy here in Cold War Zombies. And I really like the weapon inspect function that they've got, and I even kind of like the emotes that you can do in this map as well. By the way, this is the Wonder Fizz machine, so you can get your other perks from in here, and it's not random either. You can just choose whatever. But you do have to have gone into the dark either for it to turn into the Wonder Fizz machine. It just looks like a weird old cupboard thing when you first come up here before you go into the dark ether. So anyway, from this point on, guys, we're going to pretty much start doing the early stages of the high round strategy that we'll be relying on to get to high rounds. So one important thing that you want to make sure you've done is you want to keep the barrier closed at the back of this area where the Wonder Fizz is. This is one of the areas you could have taken at the start to get through to turning the power on. So you want to make sure you keep the barrier closed at the back here so that you don't have zombies coming up from behind. And this is going to be our main sort of camping area here, but we're going to mix it up with a little bit of training as well. But we'll be talking about that once we get into a few of the rounds past this point. So yeah, each of the tiers of Pack Punch do cost progressively higher in terms of points. So I think it starts off with your regular 5,000 points. To add an elemental upgrade, it's 2,000 points, but you can't add one of those to the ray gun, similar to how it worked in the past. But then from the first Pack-a-Punch of 5,000 points, it goes to 15,000 points for tier 2 Pack-a-Punch, and then tier 3, the final one, is 30,000 points. So all up to get a tier 3 Pack-a-Punch weapon, you need to spend 50,000 points, which is a huge investment, but definitely worth it for the power that you get. But okay, we have another Megaton to deal with that's spawned in, so we're just gonna deal with the first phase of this mini-boss when he comes through the door in a second with our double Pack-a-Punch ray gun. So he's still relatively easy to take out using your basic weapons here. Or well, by basic I mean Pack-a-Punch ray gun. And then we get the split. And we just got to be careful of the horde of the zombies here. So I'm going to use the war machine a little bit on these two guys. Unfortunately, they split up a little bit, so I can't damage them both at the same time very effectively here. So I'm just going to use the ray gun to finish them off. Definitely want to use the splash damage, by the way, with the ray gun. It does a lot more damage than direct impact with this particular weapon. So you can clearly see the damage numbers now if you've got them turned on, which is an interesting new feature that they've added here in Cold War Zombies. Makes it a lot easier for weapon testing. I kind of like that. And we finally got 30,000 points, so we can go with our third tier of Pack-a-Punch. And I kind of like how quick it is to Pack-a-Punch now as well. You don't have to wait for the little wheels to spin around and the knuckle crack and stuff like that to happen before you get the thing out of the machine. There's no more weapons getting sucked into Pack-a-Punch machines these days. This is the 80s, guys. Technology has progressed since the 40s. So just dealing with the dogs here. Now, once we start getting into our proper high round strategy, we're going to be buying chopper gunners most of the time at the end of the round. But until we get a good amount of high-grade salvage collected, which is what we use to craft those, we're just going to be getting the war machine instead. Now, this high-grade salvage is also required to make the self-revive kit that you saw me pointing out there. So the self-revive kit costs 250 high-grade salvage, and you want to make sure you've got enough accumulated in the bank, so to speak, so that you can buy yourself a self-revive kit if you do get down in the high rounds, and you can keep on going. So it's pretty crazy overpowered in this map, because although you don't get self-revives from buying quick revive anymore, you can simply craft them at the crafting table there, and you basically have an unlimited amount, provided you have the high-grade salvage available, which is just insane. But that's a mechanic. You can also get the self-revive kits dropping from zombies. They are a purple squarish box looking drop that you'll see occasionally. It's not too unusual to see them drop, but they are pretty rare. You can also get them occasionally from breaking the Ethereum crystals in the Dark Ether. Pretty rare though. And yeah, so the trouble is, you need to have leveled up in zombies to the point where you've got to your first prestige, I believe it is, to unlock the ability to actually craft self-revive kits. So it's kind of important that you get to that stage, because trust me, if you get downed, it's going to be a long time before you're able to get hold of one from a zombie drop or whatever without being able to craft them. So for that reason, that's why I like to have at least 1,000 high-grade salvage saved up. So you can see there that the ammo for the tier 3 Pack-a-Punch ray gun is 10,000 points. Which isn't too bad, because we're going to get a ton of points as we get into the higher rounds here. Alright, so it is round 29, and I'm going to start showing you guys the strategy that you're going to use basically to get to whatever round you have the patience for or skill to survive to. And there's two different things that you can do based on how much salvage you're collecting. So the high-grade salvage is the stuff you're going to need to buy both the war machine and the chopper gunner that I've already mentioned. And the chopper gunner is going to cost 250. The war machine is going to cost 100. So if you do start to run out of, or your levels of high-grade salvage are dropping, you want to use the war machine until you get enough accumulated to start using the chopper gunner again. But mind you, you don't have to use the war machine to kill zombies, even in the really high rounds. You can still use, for instance, about 3 Semtex will do it, or just your ray gun. But it gets pretty insane from around 55 onwards. The zombies seem to reach the maximum sprint speed and damage that they do. And you have to be sprinting all of the time at that point, or they will catch you, even with the stamina. It's pretty crazy. And when I started playing this map, I was like, wow, this map is just way too easy. Look how open it is and easy to train around this area. But once you get past round 55, it gets so fast and dangerous, especially when you throw the mini bosses in the mix, that I can kind of see why they've done it this way, because these the zombie sprinters at that point are like super Varrock runners. It's pretty insane. Anyway, once you've got enough salvage accumulated, what you can do is you can buy the chopper gunner here, and this is the main strategy that you're going to be using from this point onwards to get to the higher rounds. So you want to come all the way back up to what they've called the penthouse, rather optimistically. And remember, we've kept the barrier at the back closed. Then in this corner here, right next to the spawn on our left, you want to click on your field upgrade, the Ring of Fire, which is you've maxed out to tier 3. And then you basically stand in the ring and use the ray gun to kill all the zombies here. Try to wait, if you can, until they're inside the map before you kill them. So that way you'll get more salvage, or you'll get salvage dropping that you can collect, and other items as well. Once your Ring of Fire runs out, and you start getting overwhelmed, just trigger your chopper gunner that you've crafted at the workbench, and then you can just take out all these zombies with the chopper gunner. And once your chopper gunner runs out, you're pretty much guaranteed to have another Ring of Fire available straight away just from killing all the zombies here on the chopper gunner. So that works out really well. You want to jump back down as quickly as you can, get back to the workbench, and craft yourself another chopper gunner. Train the zombies up and come back up and rinse and repeat. And if you find you're probably going to get overwhelmed while you're crafting yourself another chopper gunner, you can throw a monkey bomb if you've got enough common salvage to craft another one. Or just train the zombies up, sprint down here, quickly craft it, and then go back up when it's safe to do so, and repeat the process. Now, if you need to repair your armor, the quickest way to get down there, even mid-round, you can go down this ether portal here, and this will take you down to a spot not too far away from the arsenal, which is that dummy-looking thing where you can repair your armor. So very quickly sprint over there, click on repair, then you can jump back down here and go back up the portal. There is a spawn location. It gets pretty hectic in the high rounds, so if you do get blocked off, you can go all the way back through after you repair your armor, up through the med bay and the tunnel to get back to Narked again. Now I'm going to fast forward this gameplay to rounds 49 to 50 just to show you guys how this all ties together in the much higher rounds later on where the zombies are sprinting. Okay, so here we are later on in the same game, round 49 now, and we're going to start off this round by using the war machine instead of the chopper gunner, and the reason for that is I'm getting a little bit low, relatively speaking, of the high grade salvage, and I just want to accumulate a little bit more of that, so I've got that buffer, and to do that I'm going to be training zombies in this area and killing the horde with the war machine. So you want to be very, very careful training in this location, because it gets pretty hectic and insane in the high rounds with the speed of the zombies, the dogs, the mini bosses, and everything going on. But usually about 3 shots of the war machine will take out your horde of 24 zombies. Go in and hoover up all the salvage and anything else that you want to pick up. And you want to watch out for the plague hounds as well. There might be between 1 and 3 of these that can spawn with every horde of zombies. And you want to pop those pretty quick. They can also help you by taking out a few zombies as well if they're in the middle of the zombies. But you definitely don't want to get pounced on by one of those guys when you're training in a tight area, that's for sure. So yeah, we're pretty much going to repeat this. This is a much slower way of getting through the rounds, obviously, than the chopper gunner method. But it might be something that you have to resort to every now and then to get enough salvage accumulated to buy the chopper gun. You definitely don't want to get to the point where you're running out of the high grade salvage, because if you do run out of it and you get downed, you're going to be stuck not being able to craft yourself a self-revive kit, and then you're going to have to rely on RNG to get one to drop, or you're just going to have to spend time without that protection to accumulate some more high grade. Anyway, this is basically what we're going to do for round 49. Then when we head into round 50, we're going to start buying the chopper gunner back again, just to show you guys how that works for one of these higher rounds.
Utilizing War Machine.
Now, one of the good things, by the way, that I will mention with the Ring of Fire is it does give you a massive damage boost while you're standing inside of it to the weapons that you're using. So when you have to actually fight the mini bosses when they spawn, you can actually just stand in the Ring of Fire when it's safe to do so. So sometimes what I'll do is, if I'm not already up in the penthouse standing in the Ring of Fire and they spawn in, you can usually take them out pretty quick if that does happen. By the way, there's a self-revive kit that just dropped, which I don't need at this point, but still pretty cool. You can't pick up multiples either, by the way. You can only have one self-revive at any one time. But yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, if you do throw a monkey bomb, you can actually then put down the Ring of Fire and hopefully take out the mini boss super quickly with a ray gun while you're standing inside of it. That's probably the quickest way to take them out. And that can take them out in a matter of seconds. But you do have to time it pretty good. Okay, anyway, because we've got an insta-kill, we're just using the wonder weapon here with the suck function until that runs out. Then we're going to trigger our Ring of Fire here in this little corner of the penthouse roof and take out as many zombies as we can. I like to push up every now and then and just collect the salvage, just to be on the safe side. But after this ring wears out, just keep going until you're about to get overwhelmed. Don't take any chances and wait too long. Trust me on this. You want to err on the side of caution for triggering that chopper gunner. And then just go crazy with the chopper gunner. And after this is over, as I said, we will have our Ring of Fire back up again. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the hell out of off this rooftop. We're going to jump down through the center of the building and then get outside to the starting area again. And we're going to buy back another chopper gunner. So just finishing off as many zombies as we can. Now, you don't want to come this way, by the way, if there's a lot of zombies around, because you can get stuck coming back down that ramp. So you're better off just going down the middle of the hole, which you can vault over the railing where the stairs are. It's probably the safest way to get back up there, but that was pretty much the end of the round, so it was pretty straightforward actually. Let's see the next round as well, I think. And yeah, we're just going to wait for the round to start, and then we're going to do pretty much the same thing again here. Now, it's worth mentioning, I didn't actually come up with this specific strategy myself, by the way. This was something that I saw being used by, what's his name? The MC Zombie Slayer, I think it was. He was streaming a world record run on Twitch, which was pretty awesome. But he didn't come up with this strategy either. He got it off someone else, you got it off someone else, and that's how it usually works with a lot of these strategies that are effective. It's hard to tell who the original genius was who came up with the tactic. But it's highly likely we'll come up with something a little bit more efficient than this, possibly, in the next few weeks. But we'll wait and see what happens. This is very effective though for now. And yeah, we're basically doing the old chopper gunner here again. You want to watch the corner underneath the awning there because they don't always show up on the targeting. And I probably shouldn't have come down this way. Again, like I said before, that's not the best way to get down. But I'm going to take out these dogs as well just before you use the crafting table. But you usually have enough time without using a monkey bomb, provided you take the dogs out. Just be very careful. You'll notice I've left the green door closed at the other side of the starting area there, just to stop them coming through that door as well while I'm using the crafting table. So hopefully that's a good enough demonstration there for you guys of the strategy that you can use to get to the high rounds in this map. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. But what I want to do finally here in closing this this guide is show you how the extraction mechanic works. So we're going to go across to an alternative gameplay here, where instead of continuing on with high rounds further from round 51, we decide to extract the map when the opportunity arises. Now in this game I was actually using my original loadout shotgun, which I upgraded using the Arsenal upgrade process with salvage all the way to legendary, and pack punch 3 times and added the fire elemental upgrade from the pack punch as well. It was surprisingly effective even at round 50 while standing in the ring of fire, doing exactly the same strategy as what you saw me doing with the ray gun. It was actually still pretty good. Not quite as good as the ray gun, obviously. You do have to kind of trigger the chopper gun a little bit earlier, even in the ring of fire, but still pretty good. Anyway, now that we're at round 50 here, every few rounds you're going to get the message from the radio where it's giving you an opportunity to extract, and you'll see the radio marked on the mini-map with an icon. Now if you go over and you click on that radio, it will start the extraction process. So before you do that, you want to be prepared. Now, the couple of things I would recommend. Make sure you craft 2 monkey bombs. Also, you want to use the war machine. So make sure you've crafted that as well. And just probably you want to have your field upgrade available as well. Apart from that, make sure you've got really good weapons and perks, all that stuff. So the essential part of that, though, is the monkey bombs and the death machine are probably the only things that are really essential to doing this easily. So once we start round 51 off, we're going to hear the radio message, and when we click on that, we're going to start the extraction process. So yeah, we're just going to wait on the radio message here, and there's the icon. So going to head over here, and you want to click and hold on this. And then as quickly as you can, you want to get to the extraction area. So go up the stairs and then out the side of the building here is the quickest route. Once we're out here, we have 1.5 minutes to kill 56 zombies. If we don't kill them all within that time limit, the chopper will explode and not be able to extract us, and will fail the extraction. So as you can see, what I do is I throw out a monkey bomb, use the war machine to kill all the zombies that group up around it, then throw out my second monkey bomb and rinse and repeat that. Use the rest of your war machine on the remaining zombies. Then if you've still got a few left over, just target the dogs first if there's any around, because they'll help blow up the zombies for you that are nearby. And you can just finish off the rest of the zombies with your weaponry. After that, you can head over to the chopper after you've killed the last zombie, and you'll be able to click on the chopper. Make sure you do the celebration, and you've extracted the map successfully. Well done! So I hope you've enjoyed this high round solo strategy guide, guys, for the map Die Machine. If you have, leave a like. Remember to comment as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Slippery Jim out.